In this video, I'll share a couple tips, a couple strategies on how to make an awesome, standout LinkedIn profile photo. I'll give you a couple examples of people who are crushing it when it comes to their LinkedIn photo, give you a couple examples of who is not crushing it and why, and then I will also break down a resource at the end, which is awesome. I just used it, and this resource allows you to get votes on your profile photo to determine how others are actually perceiving. Like it or not, your LinkedIn profile success depends largely on a recruiter's gut reaction to your photo. There was an interesting study by some Princeton psychologists, and they were looking at how long it takes for people to form an opinion about you from a picture of you. These two psychologists' names were Janine Willis and Alexander Todorov, and they found that it only takes a 1/10 of a second for a stranger to form an opinion about you. So it's really critical that we get the LinkedIn profile photo right. Now, think about this for a second. If you have recruiters that are just kind of rifling through a bunch of profiles, it's really easy for them to, they have a ton of people that they can choose from for specific roles, right? And so if they're looking through profiles and they see a really bad image, and by bad I mean pixelated, I mean blurry, somebody that's really far away, you can't see their face, right? That's what I mean by bad. They're gonna skip over your profile, right? Because the photo is the gateway for them to read the rest of your profile. And there is an assumption that is likely held by many people looking at your profile that if the photo is of low quality, then the rest of the profile will also be of low quality. So let's make sure that we increase our chances by having an awesome LinkedIn profile photo. Let's show you some bad LinkedIn profile photos. Here are 3 examples. Notice how all of them have this really strange kind of yellow hue to them. They were taken from phones likely that are not really designed to take low light photos, and the lighting is off. The picture on the left, the person is really far away from the from the camera, and there's some shadows on his face. Person in the middle has this strange light behind him, so it's kind of taking away from the actual focus of the photo, which is the picture of him. And then the person on the right is golfing and really far away from the camera, and it's also kind of like this side profile shot. It's awesome that this person is showing their passion, but for LinkedIn, it's best to stick with the basics and have your face, well lit and close to the camera. Let me show you some great LinkedIn profiles now as compared to the not so great ones. As you can see, these pictures really stand out, and they stand out for 5 reasons. The first reason is that the backgrounds are blurry or there is solid color. This ensures that the person looking at your profile photo is only focused on you and not some distraction that's in the background. Point number 2, there's no yellow hue on the photos. Point number 3, the lighting conditions for these photos are all really good. There's no shadows on the faces that detract from the main image. Point number 4, the clothing they have on complements the background of the image, right? This is something that they pre-planned. Now, it's important on this point to make sure that you have clothing that is appropriate for your industry. For example, me, I have a t-shirt in my LinkedIn profile photo. I'm in tech. That's an acceptable thing in tech, right? If I had a suit on in my LinkedIn profile photo, recruiters in my industry would actually kind of be thrown off by that. So make sure you're dressed industry appropriate. And the last point, point number 5, is the head shot is actually centered in the image or just slightly off center on one of these photos. But the key is that you're basically centered in the photo. Last thing here before I close, an awesome online resource that I want to share called photofeeler.com. Now, PhotoFeeler allows you to get votes on your profile photo to determine if others think you are competent, likable, and influential. This is a really interesting insight. Now, there's a couple different options that you have with Photo Feeler. One that's free, so you can get 10 votes, but you have to vote on some other people's profile photos. First, the option that I chose was a $9 option, and you can get 40 votes. What's really interesting here is that the 40 votes that you get represent what the entire population of people who view your photo would feel about your photo. It's really interesting. So it's a statistical significant sample of how the general population would feel about your photo. Here's an example of the photo that I did last night and the votes that I got. Luckily, people think this photo conveys that I'm likable and influential, which is great. I was kind of wondering what people were going to think about this, but it's a really interesting indicator of the population. There's literally no excuse now to have a crappy LinkedIn profile photo. You know, in the past, you used to have to have a really awesome camera. Now we have our iPhones and Android phones, all of which have the capability of doing portrait mode to do some blurry background. So if you don't have an iPhone or an Android phone that has that capability, you guaranteed have a friend who does. The best time of day to take a profile headshot is during a time called golden hour. There's a time in the morning that's 1 hour after sunrise, and there's a time in the evening 1 hour before sunset. These are great times to take photos. Give a couple of those times a shot and find an image that works perfect for you. That's all I got for you guys today. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you can use these tips to crush it with your LinkedIn profile, get more eyeballs on your profile. That's the name of the game, and get calls for interviews. So hit that subscribe button below, hit that like button below if you love the video, and if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. I'm always checking them. We will catch you on the next video. Thanks a lot.